Hello, I'm Todd Hall, President and CEO of TruLiant. As we mark our 70th anniversary in 2022, we reflect on a rich history that would not be possible without the support of the great city of Winston-Salem. From our humble beginnings in 1952 to the present, where we will soon serve over 300,000 members, hire our 1,000th employee, and exceed $4 billion in assets, to a future poised for continued growth, I am proud of the work we are doing together. TruLiant is grateful for and remains committed to Winston-Salem and all of Forsyth County.
Welcome to the Greater Conversations podcast. I'm Deetra Miller, the Director of Member Relations and Engagement at Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. We'll use this platform to showcase our local businesses, our community, and their stories. Everyone, welcome back to the show. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Alice Smith, the founder of Alice Approved. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. You know, you're not just locally famous here in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. Like, you are known all over the state, all over Virginia, because you do so many television segments. You're speaking to all these different audiences. Your social media has blown up simply because you're trying to help people be healthier.
Thank you.
How awesome is that?
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I love it, and I do feel like I have a message to share, and I'm called to do that. So I want to just shout from the rooftops, the stage, social media, because we've all been misled when it comes to nutrition, a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle. We've all followed the fads, and it's about more than just weight. It's about health. It's about feeling good, vitality, having just life in your years, and really just having energy and less inflammation. So I just want to tell everyone. So thank you for having me, because I will talk for days.
Of course. Oh my gosh, your enthusiasm is so contagious. It is fantastic. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about what Alice Approved is for everybody that's listening.
For sure. Thank you. So as a dietitian, and my name being Alice, it kind of came from actually the name. Some friends were saying, "Oh, is this Alice Approved? Is this Alice Approved?" Kind of behind my back, like kind of as a joke. And then I'm like, and then it just became this, well, that is approved, that isn't approved. And really what the goal of Alice Approved is to simplify. And to simplify what you're eating, your nutrition, your diet, to the fewer ingredients, the better. And that's what's approved. The fewer ingredients, the better. The less additives, preservatives, flavor enhancers, flavorings, stabilizers, food dyes, everything that's making our food shelf stable and last for a long time is the goal of Alice Approved, is to really reduce that and to eliminate all of these additives that are making us sick and tired. So what's approved is the fewer ingredients, the better. What are those ingredients? Can you pronounce them? And how are you fueling your body for success?
That's good, because if you look at a lot of labels, you cannot pronounce some of those things, right?
Right. Yes.
So, like, how do you help people understand that they need to change, right?
Yes.
Because you can look at something on the shelf at the grocery store and it says healthy this,
yes,
or all natural that,
yes,
but it's got all of these long names of ingredients that are like, I guess it's healthy. I guess it's food.
Yes,
How
exactly.
do you help them?
Exactly. And that's such a good point, because we're all in such a hurry. We're on autopilot. We're eating the same foods we've eaten for years, decades, because our parents, that's what they bought, or grandparents, or it's what the kids, the grandkids like, or it's what we like. It's just convenient.
Or it's on sale.
Yeah, or it's on sale. Exactly. And these food companies are really, they're great at putting something on the front of the package that says healthy, natural, made from nature, all of these different things that you really want to investigate that label, turn that box around and see what's in it. And I really recommend my clients and in my programs to look and see, what are you consuming regularly on a daily basis? How can we start small, and how can we look and say, is this really fueling me for success? What are these ingredients? And you said there are a lot of ingredients that are long, you don't know what they are. And that is one of my just tips, and a rule of thumb is, can you visualize the ingredient? So when you're reading the ingredients list, can you visualize honey?
Yes. That's easy.
Can you visualize oats?
Yes.
Can you visualize peanut butter?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Peter Pan over there.
Yeah. Can you visualize BHT?
Say what now?
No. Can you visualize
What did you call me?
polysorbate 80?
No.
Can you visualize titanium dioxide?
Probably not.
Probably not. So if you cannot visualize it, and it is a chemical compound, it is long, the name is complicated, you don't know what it's derived from, then we really don't know how that's impacting our health and our body. So it's not a great choice for daily consumption. So really thinking about what's in the foods that I'm eating on a regular basis and how can I make a healthier swap. So that's what it's all about. Healthier swaps. When I finish my Peter Pan peanut butter, I'm making a swap to a natural peanut butter that just has peanuts and salts, no additives. Same with breakfast bars, with oatmeal, with salad dressings, with anything you're consuming on a regular basis. Just look and say, does this pass the test?
So when it comes to nutrition, you've got like all of the letters behind your name. So you know everything about nutrition. How did you get to the point where you thought, people need to dig into this a little bit deeper and understand what they're eating?
Yes, for sure. Well, I would say it was definitely personally and professionally when I was working with my clients, and then also just analyzing my diet and what I was eating. I realized through a sugar detox that I did years ago, yes, with a coworker. And I was like, yeah, I'll do this with you. You know, I'm not addicted to sugar, right? You know, I'm eating the healthy sugar-free items and drinking Crystal Light and doing everything that's sugar-free. So we did this detox, and it changed my life and my perception on sugar and artificial sweeteners. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is huge. We're all addicted to sugar. Artificial sweeteners, sugar alcohols are snuck into everything. And it really made me analyze my diet and also the diet of my clients. And so it's not just the calories. We're all sold this bill of goods of it's the calories, it's the quantity. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. So I went into this thinking, okay, it's the sugar, the artificial sweeteners, and then the more that I just researched and worked with people and myself, I'm like, it's the sugar, it's the sweeteners, but it's also the preservatives, the additives, the flavorings, just everything that's making these foods shelf stable, palatable, and to make it to where when you finish that box, bag, can, container, that you put it back on your grocery list, because these foods are addictive and they're good, and you want to continue consuming them. So for me, it was really realizing that it's the quality that we are after, not the quantity, because I want you to eat until you're full and satisfied. I want you to have a big plate full of veggies, have fruit on there, lean protein, healthy fats. I want you to feel good, fueled, and energized. And I don't want you to focus just on the amount, because that's what we were told at one point, and it's just not accurate. So you've got
to cut the plate in half and then eat half of the half, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who wants this small, unappetizing, not pleasing to the eye portion of this frozen dinner think about what all is in something like that.
Sodium.
A ton of sodium.
I have to watch my sodium intake, so I don't know that you knew. I had triple bypass heart surgery at the age of 41.
No.
And they told me that the only thing they really cared about, my doctor even said, I don't care if you have a cheeseburger every day, but cut back on the sodium and the carb part. And he says, I'm not telling you to go count anything. Just pull back on some of it. Now, they gave my wife all these rules and regulations about the sodium intake, and anything under 20% I can have, but not a lot of it. So sodium's the thing that I have to watch more than anything.
That's such a good point. I'm glad you bring that up, because 75% of our daily sodium intake comes from these packaged processed foods. So our canned soups, our preserved food, our frozen dinners, our sauces, marinades, things like that. So when you make the transition to more real whole food with the fewer ingredients, it naturally knocks out a lot of that added sodium.
Yep. I don't eat frozen. Only thing frozen I eat is ice cream. And sometimes I'll have like chicken nuggets or fish sticks or something, but no like lean cuisines or anything silly like that, because when she fixes hers, I can smell the sodium, and because I've done away with most of it, and I'm like, oh, that's just not appetizing at all. And I make my own sauces the best I can.
That's great.
I try to use basic ingredients and spices, and still a little salt, but salt is not sodium. Salt is sodium, but sodium is not salt. So salt is not your enemy. You just have to watch how much of the sodium part. But I try to do as from scratch as possible when it comes to stuff like that.
That's great.
And I'm a sauce junkie. So if I can make a sauce that I'd made myself, and I see these things, and I'm like, no, I'm doing it myself. That's just fun.
I love that. It's better for you too.
Yeah.
Tastes better.
Yeah.
I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And I've seen on some of the socials, Alice approved showing some ways to make sauces and make healthy dinners and all of that kind of thing. Talk a little bit about how that has helped some of your clients.
For sure. It's also just breaking it down and thinking about not only the fewer ingredients, the better. What are those ingredients? But also just getting in the kitchen and just having confidence that if it's not good, it's okay. It's okay. And if you buy a new product that you've never had before, I've done the same thing where I buy something and then I let it sit in the fridge until it goes bad. And that's not what I want my clients to do. I want them to have the confidence to buy new food, something they haven't had before, to make a change with a peanut butter, or even adding in fermented foods, or a new breakfast bar, or making their own salad dressing and knowing that it's going to be fine. It's going to be good. We may need to make some tweaks, but just the confidence in purchasing something new and trying something new, a lot of times can be 90% of it. Oh. And then that confidence really just carries into, well, I did this. I made my own sauce. I made my own salad dressing. I'm going to add these new vegetables. I'm going to add more color to my plate. I'm going to experiment with something I haven't had before. And really, diversity in your diet is something that's huge for me and for my clients and my programs. Is we, again, just get in the rut of eating the same things, even a lot of our healthy things. We always get a banana, we always get apples, or we always get iceberg lettuce. How can we really enhance the nutrition and add more diversity to our diet? So can we do more seasonal produce? Can we add in a pomegranate? Can we do darker colored greens? Can we do a spinach or a kale? Can we add in carrots? Can we do something maybe we've never had before? Can we even add in kiwi or plantains? Something that you don't have all of the time is going to be really good for your health.
I love that. Talk a little bit about one of your favorite success stories of a client that maybe had a sugar addiction,
Yes.
which we all do, or had trouble with giving up sodium or frozen foods.
Yes. Oh, well, the first person that comes to mind is Carol. I have to talk about Carol. She has been with me for several years, and she did my Eat Clean for 15 program, which is a 15-day reset where we nourish our body with anti-inflammatory foods. We break the addiction to sugar and processed foods in a group atmosphere with support and encouragement. We have meal plans, guidelines, and it's wonderful. We never count a calorie, carb point, any of that. So Carol came into it, and she was really excited, and she was all in. And after 3 days, she was not taking prednisone for her rheumatoid arthritis and could climb the stairs without pain.
It.
No, I could cry just talking about it. She completed the 15 days, and it was life-changing. She was off of her prescription prednisone that she was told she would have to take for life. She could climb the stairs without pain, get on the floor. I mean, her inflammation was gone, joint pain was gone, digestive issues were gone after doing a clean eating reset. Yes, she said nothing tastes as good as this feels. And that was over a year ago. I connected with her a couple weeks ago, and she said that she had actually gone to the doctor for some other things and was having some issues with bone density due to some other medications. And they said, we're really glad that you did this lifestyle change and you did the Eat Clean for 15 reset, and you're on this path, because if you had been on some of your other medications long term, it would have impacted you even more than it has. So changing your diet was a huge foundation, and they just really applauded her for that. So, I mean, you can't measure that on the scale. That is, and it's all about these stories that are just changing your quality of life. When you have more energy, you can spend time with the people that you love. You can be a better caregiver. And I know as females, my clients, they are caregivers, they are nurturers. They love their family, their spouse, they're taking care of parents, of children, of grandchildren. They're working, they're going to church, they're taking care of everyone, neighbors, friends, family. And at the end of the day, if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't do a great job taking care of them. So when they really take this time to focus on their diet and how they're nourishing their body and make these small changes, they add up to huge results, and it just gives them more energy, more time. They feel like exercising, they're sleeping better, and they can just do everything in a much better way.
Wow, that sounds
And
awesome.
you think of it like you just said, like on an airplane when you're sitting there, they're like, if we lose cabin pressure, these masks are going to fall.
Yep.
Put yours on
Yours
before
on
you can help
first.
anybody else.
Absolutely. There is
So-
no better
good.
analogy than that. I love it because you have to do that because you just cannot give from an empty cup. So you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's super important. And then also that just rolls into every other aspect of life. Just the confidence in the kitchen, and then the confidence in seeing your lab levels change, seeing your blood pressure go down, seeing these numbers improve. It is just, it is why I do what I do. I love it.
I love that. How do you help parents that may be transitioning into a clean eating lifestyle that have to help their kids also
Yeah.
transition into that?
Absolutely. That's such a good question. And it's small steps. And it's also having these healthy foods available. So having your fruits and your veggies always available, washed, ready to grab, and then introducing those to your children too. So it can take up to 20 exposures to a food before a child will actually like it and eat it. So if they say no to broccoli the first time, keep trying, keep offering it, and make sure that it's seen and it's known. Because if they don't ever see these healthy foods, and then they maybe go to school and see a green bean for the first time ever, it's like they're not going to try that in front of their friends.
Where's
It's like,
my square pizza?
yeah, it's like they've never seen it before. Also, getting the kids involved in the kitchen as much as you can, because when they're involved in the preparation and they see how it's made and they feel just that confidence in, hey, I helped make that, I'm going to try that. It helps, obviously in a safe way, but wherever you can, get the kids involved so they just see these foods, they're a part of their lifestyle, and then these small swaps come into play. It makes a big difference.
And they may go and be part of a world-class catering company. That's what my son did. I got him into
Nice.
to food, and I mean, yes, we liked some bad stuff, but we also we changed our minds on some things for good things, and now he's the guest that we had last episode or sometime episode around. He works for that catering company now, so
I love that. And that would not have happened if he had never had any experience in the kitchen.
Right,
I love
exactly.
that. He owes it
Yeah.
all to you. Right?
yes, that's what I always tell him. I said, "This is all because of me, boy."
Yeah. I would take that credit. I love that. And then just diversity with the diet of the kids too. And then also knowing that you're ultimately in control of what you purchase and what you prepare.
Oh,
So
that's good.
knowing what you bring in the
Yes.
house is your decision. I know that sounds really harsh, but making these healthy swaps slowly and introducing these healthy foods to the kids is going to make a big difference.
You just said a word that I want to dive in on a little bit. You said making those purchases and what you bring into your home. So for those folks that are on a budget, what would you recommend?
Yes, this is such a good question because eating healthy on a budget is absolutely possible. And when you think about our healthy foods, they are actually cheaper. When we are eating less processed foods, it's actually cheaper. So I always recommend for my clients to look and say, okay, a bag of carrots, of whole carrots, is cheaper than the baby carrots that are already cut and prepared. So how can we look at things and see the less processed is going to be the more nutritious, and it's also going to be cheaper. So it may take a little more time. So it depends on what your resources are. If you have a little more time, we can do the less processed food and prepare that on our own. If we do have more finances, we can buy some of these things prepackaged, cut, prepared. I know you can go to Lowe's and go to the Lowe's and go to the Pick and Prep, and it's all cut and washed for you. But even thinking about things like our old-fashioned oats, our quinoa, our rice, when we can buy things like that, that's not doesn't have added preservatives and flavorings and seasonings, and we can even buy that in bulk, it's going to be much cheaper. So think about getting your apples, your pears, your bananas, all of your produce. Absolutely get that, cut that up on your own, and just think about how much cheaper it is to get a bag of carrots than even veggie chips. So you're going to get a lot more carrots than you are of veggie chips that are packaged, processed, and don't have as many nutrients. So really thinking about things like that, and even great sources of protein. You can do eggs. Eggs are great, even plant protein like your beans, your nuts, your seeds. So it definitely can be done in a healthy way. So I don't want you to think that eating healthy is too expensive. I just want you to look and say, how can I make a transition to a less processed food? And even thinking about something like cheese, like Parmesan cheese. So it's going to be more processed to have that shredded on its, grab it already shredded. If you just get a block of cheese and shred it on your own, it's much
more
cheaper.
fun.
It's cheaper, and it doesn't have the anti-caking agents and the preservatives in there. So small swaps like that, and doing just a big container of your old-fashioned oats instead of your small flavored packets, it's going to be more nutritious to flavor it on your own, and it's going to be much cheaper too.
And pre-shredded cheese usually is covered in wax to keep it from clogging.
Yep, so
or
it doesn't-
clotting. So
yeah.
so get a block of cheese and grind it yourself.
Make a candle out of it.
Yeah, I know, right? You
a
probably
cheese candle.
could.
Yeah. So get a block of cheese, and there are the old-fashioned box graters, or I have a Pampered Chef one that you put it in and grind it just like they use in restaurants. Just don't be lazy. Get real cheese and use that.
Well, you bring up a good point in regard to that, because time is something for a lot of people. You've got busy working parents. They've got, their jobs, they've got kids, or you're on the run, maybe you're traveling, and it's really easy to stop by a fast food restaurant. How can you make a healthy choice when you're going to a fast food restaurant, for example, or
Yeah.
any restaurant?
Yes, whenever you're eating out, focus on where you can get vegetables. So can I add a salad? Can I add a side of veggies, steamed, roasted? Can I do a lean protein? Is that beef, chicken, shrimp, fish, whatever that looks like? And then a healthy starch is going to be your potato, your rice, your fruit. So really think about a balanced meal no matter where you are. And you can navigate eating out in a successful way, but then also always having things with you. So you're never in a bind, always having a healthy just piece of fruit with you, nuts, a healthy bar, something with you to where okay, I have a healthy option with me that's going to help supplement whatever I have to get on the road while I'm out. But being prepared, checking those menus ahead of time, and then focusing on color and balance.
Man, this is good. We've talked a lot about foods today. So the catering company he mentioned is Elevated Catering, and I got really hungry talking about that. And now we're talking about all this fun, healthy stuff. So yeah, it's almost lunchtime. We'll cut that out too. But anyway,
No, we're leaving that in.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
we'll
'cause-
cut the part out where I said we'll cut this out. So
love you,
you
teacher.
are here in Winston-Salem. You're based in Winston. I'm curious to know, what are the things that have really helped you in regard to building up your business here? Any resources? And then what do you love about this area?
I love Winston because it feels like a big city, but then when you start going out and seeing people and networking and making connections in the community, and everything the chamber does is wonderful. I've made so many just business contacts and friends, and then it seems like a really small town. You start seeing the same people, and it just makes it so welcoming and so friendly, and just a great place to be. I love Winston. I love everything about it, and just the parks and the walking trails, everything that's outdoor, things that happen downtown, great restaurants. It's wonderful, and I have just been so grateful to make great connections, and just seeing the same people over and over. Even though it's a big city, it becomes smaller once are really out and meeting people, and I love having my business here.
This smile, I wish you could see it through the podcast, because it's amazing. You are just so enthusiastic and just happy and smiling all the time. You love what you do, and I'm so glad that you are here today. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to share with everybody listening?
I think the main thing I would leave people with is to know that it really is empowering. I want this to be empowering for you to know that the choices you make at the grocery store, what you choose at the restaurant, is ultimately up to you, and that no one else is really looking out for your health but you. So don't let that be scary or frustrating or overwhelming. Just know that these small steps will add up to big results in your health, and that I'm cheering you on and you can do it.
Yay! All right. So for everyone listening, how do they get in touch with you?
Yes, you can find me at aliceapproved.com, on Instagram, Alice_approved, or Facebook, Alice Approved. And I would love to get messages and pictures of healthy swaps.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time. We know you enjoyed this podcast today, so join us for the next episode of Greater Conversations. By the way, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to visit our website at winstonsalem.com. The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our sponsors, distributors, or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. or your toast.